Welcome back, Intellectual. Listen, I've heard that there is a new game on the block, and it's been released by a smaller studio, and it's been also well received, not only because of what's it all about, but also because of how well it's running. And considering that the massive AAA studios are developing games that run like trash, it's quite an achievement to make a good game, both technically and also funly. We've got an immediate commentary note, so we're gonna blast through that one, and then we're gonna continue going through all the shit that went down recently.
This ledge is a really tricky spot for NPCs to navigate. While we wanted Alex to be able to maneuver dynamically through any complex environment, in certain navigation situations we're faced with a trade-off between flexibility and visual quality. In this particular case, she navigates the ledge with a combination of AI and scripted animations. We've continued to evolve the systems of Half-Life 2 whereby characters move fluidly through dynamic AI and scripted navigation, but ultimately what matters most is how it looks to the player.
So how does it look? Let's make sure. Did that look right enough? Because with he hanging those arms in the air for the whole jump looks weird, but also it's also a problem for jumping as a player, really. If it's a third-person game, unlike this one, the issue is how often do you as a human jump over things, and what are the things that you can jump over? You can maybe jump over your bed, you can maybe jump over a chair like Bill Gates, but can you jump over a whole car? Maybe not. Can you crouch jump? Maybe not. More often than not, instead of jumping over a car or a chair, you would climb over it. So it's not that you actually move around and leave the ground actively multiple times in a second. And also, with that, since you're jumping instead of climbing, the animation is supposed to look convincing. And also, are you jumping for long distance across, or are you jumping high? That will be a different thing. World of Warcraft somewhat dealt with it by having racial things, characters doing so, putting some flair into their behavior rather than just raw ass lifting you off the ground. But also the problem is that when you want to jump, first you kind of crouch and get ready and then you jump. Instead, in the game, the animation doesn't have the ability to look forwards in time and predict that you're gonna jump, to pre-render that animation. Maybe they'll produce a frame of this animation right after you hit the key to look fast enough.
Dog! Look out!
Oh shit.
Oh my god, dog! Dog! Dog, are you alright? Oh thank god. You scared the hell out of me. Now stay with us and help us find a way over. I cannot believe we're trying to get back in that place.
Right.
This isn't gonna be easy. Well, dog, what do you think? Any ideas?
That rock could spawn specifically for him, so that we can't take it away from him.
All right, dog. That's not too helpful.
Enough of you thinking. Leave it to the pros.
There must be a way to get across. But how? What about dog?
And through the magic of widescreen, we get both of them into frame.
Was it something I said? Huh? Dog, what are you? I think dog needs a few bolts tightened. Look out!
She tells me, knowing ahead before the object rendered.
That was a little close. What's gotten into you, huh? How exactly is this supposed to help us? What? Wait a minute. Oh no. You're not serious. Are you? Well, Gordon, unless you have a better suggestion, he is a robot. He's done the math. Uh-huh. I want you to get out of here as fast as you can. Go find Dad. We'll catch up, don't worry. All right. I'll miss you too. Now, don't worry about me. I'll see you soon. Get in the passenger side, Gordon.
The game tells us to get in a van. This is clearly not a game for people under 18, maybe even under 16. What are you doing? Because what we're doing is, of course, listening to the bubbles. But before that, one more thing. Talking about games, there's another game that came out recently. Doom, The Dark Ages, just after I finished playing Doom 3 for the channel. And they say that the game is too masculine, and that's bad. Well, of course, I'm not convinced by this criticism. And I haven't played the game yet, but supposedly it's good. So there's that. Right, so what about the bubbles?
Our games are created by design collectives that we call cabals. When the idea to have you and Alex sit in a van and then have Dog toss it across the gorge was first suggested during a cabal meeting, everyone thought it was funny, and then we moved on to more serious solutions for the gorge crossing. As the design progressed, though, we kept coming back to the van idea, and eventually everyone agreed that we should give it a try. Even though the idea was kind of outrageous, it satisfied some key goals we had for the scene. Alex and the player get across the impassable gorge, and Dog is able to play a key role in the mission while also plausibly getting left behind. There were still some problems to solve, though. Attaching animated models to the van was tricky, making sure the van didn't kill the player took some thought, and it took a number of tries before we were able to really illuminate Dog's thinking, as he went from testing his idea with chunks of debris to finally presenting the plan to Alex. Ultimately, we were able to create a scene that solved some tricky game design issues, provided an intimate view of the relationship between Alex and Dog, and delivered a surprising and visceral entrance to the Citadel.
Also, an important part of this whole sequence is that Dog decides to find an entire ass van, and what would be more beneficial is essentially just a couch, maybe even a kayak. Something, maybe something with wings instead. Not that you would find a plane because they're probably grounded by Citadel authorities, but man, the problem is a van, right? A whole ass van weighs a lot, way more than just two people on a couch. So that's not helping. Maybe a sled, but why would there be a sled here? A van? A van is still a bad idea. I don't know, hang on to a fucking pole, and that'll be good enough. Maybe make a box. I don't know, you've got that sonic screwdriver that you mess around. Or at least we've seen you messing around. And maybe you can weld things with it. You broke combined tech with it, you hacked things, you opened and locked doors. So maybe that could work on something. Maybe Dog has tools like that, like a welder or some shit. We've got a fire here, so maybe that will help. That's not how this works. Forge welding? Possibly. No, not with a regular fire like that, of course. Maybe just stick it into the fucking reactor and that will be hot enough to get you across. This looks like an antenna. It's not. It looks actually like they've run out of surface to attach it to, because this attaches nicely and neatly to an actual wall. But yeah, a van is still a bad idea. Find something else. Find anything else. Couldn't you have found a convertible? That would be half this mass. And also, why is this like a rebar here? Anyway, the other bubble.
It's really important to us to create scenes that showcase strong relationships between our characters. The relationship between Alex and Dog seems to be especially satisfying to players. In the scene leading up to the van toss, we had a bug before the animation was complete, where Dog's head would shake as he looked back at Alex. In a happy accident, his head shook right after she asked him, "You did do the math, right?" In playtests, players thought this was intentional and always laughed. Because of that, we worked it into the animation, and it ended up being a terrific little moment between Dog and Alex.
And it's unique because also Dog never really does that. He never emotes or confirms things with these human gestures like nodding or shaking its head. Or am I wrong? It does nod sometimes, doesn't it? Well, or I'm just completely wrong. So there's also that, but rarely though. So we're going on a trip. Titanfall. Now the cat is out of the bag. That's what we are gonna do. Also, this is only this big. I understand that Dog can maybe lift more than our gravity gun, and can help himself punting things, but also action and reaction is one thing. And second, no matter that, I don't think a dog would have, again, with the mass, enough strength to just fucking toss you in a car over this chasm. It's a lot to ask. You know, what's the worst that can happen? And this thing doesn't have airbags. Might not have had any ever.
Brace yourself, Gordon.
Good thing I can swivel my head 360
Okay,
degrees
Doc,
around.
Let's do it. Before I change my...
The trains are still running.
Trust me.
Careful, hold on.
Easy for you to say.
Whoa. Phew. Whew. Good throw, dog. Now go, boy, go on. You'll be fine. Just... Uh-oh.
I'm sure he heard you too.
Now. Whoa.
Well,
Hold on.
seatbelts.
Ooh. Oh. Phew. All right, let's get off before the next ride starts.
Yeah, fortunately, the entire hole in the wall had the entire track for us to drive on. Yeah. Well, we're not recovering this one. Total loss. You think the insurance covers this? Well, she's got her gun out. And talking about guns and Doom, in Doom 3 playthrough, I talked about a certain porn star. And what do you know? A certain other porn star was pronounced missing, presumed dead, or actually found, also already dead. Info is not clear, but that happened. Not like she was in a public eye for any time recently, for the last 15 years or so. You know how it is. You go to Vegas, you do drugs, and then you die. And then you're also a hoe. So, immediately, more commentary.
To convey a sense of urgency, we originally designed Alex to nag the player pretty frequently. She'd say things like, "Hurry up and keep moving." Whether or not this created a sense of urgency is debatable, but after about 3 minutes of this, the one thing it definitely did was make the player hate Alex. This was one of the observations that eventually led us to switch Alex from generally leading the players to almost always following. Through playtesting, we discovered that players much preferred to set the pace themselves, and that they especially disliked virtually any hint of bossiness from Alex.
Nice, nice. A strong, independent woman is something that male gamers hate, isn't it? Is that right? A woman leading the way. No, we can't have that now, can we? Well, you know, obviously the concession is that you're the main character. You're doing the things. If this is a story about someone else, why the fuck are you here? And why the fuck aren't you playing Alex? Well, you do get to play Alex after 20 years of waiting. Yeah, about that. Something about that. After 20 years of waiting. You get to play as Alex, the independent woman. But now she's just...
This place is really coming apart.
I mean, the best you could do, I guess, is... I don't know, she's sneaking in here. Who was here? We all were here. But none of us really know the layout. So she could be like, right, so you know where to go, we need to find this and that. Keep a lookout. And then you're just gonna take point, essentially. And that's how it's gonna be. You're gonna be looking out for what she said to find. But she's so far so it's been a while from the first episode for me, where she said we need to go in here and disable the core or some shit like that. Stabilize it because otherwise it will blow and no one will have enough time to escape. I guess that's what we are doing. So she would say, right, find the core place or something like that. Right. I might remember what we were doing solely because I played this game enough to remember. Otherwise, maybe I would have struggled, just like with Doom 3. Especially the expansions. But yeah, but she's no longer instructing you. Reminding you, right? You got into the Citadel. What are we doing? Apparently, what we're doing is that we're taking the only open path to get as far as we can. Otherwise, then we stop and let the game design open the path for us, or the NPC open the thing. We're gonna spend a lot of time just having the gravity gun.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, right?
No idea.
Well, you kinda did. We were at the highest fucking level of the tower. We were essentially on the roof too.
Oh, what a drop. We gotta find a way down to the core. Wish we had a map.
I know, right? Oh, hey. That's exactly what she's doing right now. Reminding us what we are doing. How do you... Talking about not having a map, how do you know the core is down? It's probably up. I'm not sure. We'll go wherever the mission takes us.
We populate our environments with spots where players can take a break to look out over an expanse of cool scenery. We call these vistas. This particular vista was designed to give anyone familiar with the Citadel interior from Half-Life 2 a good view of what it looks like now that everything's falling apart. The pods that are sliding off their track and into the abyss really sell the idea that the Citadel is half abandoned and in chaos.
It's already half abandoned, so that went fast. Also, just an orange skybox. What's important is that there's light there. I mean, maybe it's the illusion where we're in sort of a dark spot, dark place, like physically without photons. And so, with that, our eyes adjust to the darkness, so the pupils dilate. But when you look at the bright area or sources of light, it washes out things and blinds you, so it's not like you can see anything that's dimmer in there, because the area is too bright. Right, so how do we go down? We just jump over the fence? Can you jump over the fence? Oh, also talking about jumping, so with third-person games, it's not so much about realism, even as Gaben talks about it. It's not so much about realism of the jumping animation or climbing animation. It's more about consistency or something, making it look plausible enough, making it just look such that it would work what the character is doing. Maybe you're just bouncing off and then clearing the obstacle, because that's not usually not what we're doing. And they decided, I guess, to make it look realistic with Alex, with the arms up. And that looked weird. Maybe if she actually did something that would make her look cool or be more casual, or just be enough to make her seem, maybe actually just look plausible. Maybe that would have been better instead of hanging the arms in the air, because you have to, give yourself the momentum and the forces by lifting your throwing your limbs up to pull yourself, sort of throw yourself, fling yourself, if you know what I mean. To keep that momentum. Maybe if she sort of reached forwards and then maybe reached her arms back as she moves over the gap, she would look more feminine and more effortlessly, and look like she was reaching forward and pulling herself through. Instead, she looks like she's hanging onto some sort of zip line. Is my impression of her. So, since we already had a bubble over there, let's go over this one.
In an early version of this map, Alex led the player through the whole thing. To make Alex seem less omniscient, we had her access a console here to get her bearings. It exploded, which helped drive home the point that the Citadel was in bad shape, but generally, it was a long pause in the action without a lot of payoff. After we made the high-level decision to have Alex follow the player, this entire scene became irrelevant, and we happily cut the whole thing.
Oh, very cool. Also, as I'm looking just in general direction of nothing, it's in 95 degrees FOV, and the game, as I talked about in the previous episode, was designed to be played in 80, so that you can have a clear look at their facial expressions. Is very focused. So every time I look sort of to the side, it looks so awful how it stretches her face, especially when she's looking to the side. It's really not looking good. I don't know if it's specific to this technique. Obviously, when you're increasing the FOV, the areas are gonna get distorted, but it seems like they're getting extra distorted because they didn't predict that 95 would be the standard. Not even 90, I think.
Stalkers.
I know, right?
Well, they shouldn't bother us if we leave them alone.
Shouldn't.
I'll just disable this field and
And that'll be it, I'm sure.
I can't get this down. Something. It's that stalker. He's holding it from the other side. We don't have time to look for another way around. How are we gonna get through here? those roller mines are going, I've got an idea how to use one here.
Going. Some of them are just lying here. Oh no, that's just stalkers and the scanner. The issue,
See if
first
you
of
can find a roller mine, Gordon.
yeah, woman, you know what does the Bible say about speaking in the presence of man? That you shouldn't do it, is what it says. So she's doing the console, which is of course knobs and sliders instead of actual keyboard. And she goes, "Oh no, it flickers. Something is stopping it. Oh no, this stalker is holding it back." As if the stalker sees that we're operating a console, and he goes, "Oh, I've got a button for this, or a lever," and he just forcefully holds the lever down from being moved down, which would trigger the barrier. Because it's sort of like, it's as if drive-by-wire, even though it's all software, and it could be a button, it's a lever instead, because he has to hold it. Because it would be stupid if he was holding a button. So he holds the lever, and it stops her. And also, so he would have a reaction time, where he sees, oh, someone is doing something, let me hold the lever. And he sees that the barrier is going down, so he reacts to that. Maybe try to interact with this console again, and I'll just slip through, and then you do that again, and or I'll just beat them to death with my fists, and that'll be enough. Because she didn't try again. No, that was fast on her. No, that's her pistol is still shit when it comes to modeling. It's I was wondering why is it red, but it's some sort of a reflection of some sort of red thing. It's not RTX. That hasn't come in. It's well, right. Because the demo and the new technology and the update, none of that. Not even higher quality textures. Right. So yeah, he holds it, and we're not even trying again. But the solution, of course, murder.
Training is one of the fundamental tenets of our design philosophy. Before the player is required to utilize some new game mechanic, or new weapon, or face a new monster under pressure in a dangerous situation, we always introduce the concept in a relatively calm, but ideally still entertaining way. This entire scene teaches the player that Alex can convert roller mines so that they can be used as a friendly weapon. Later, the player is required to do this in more pressing circumstances, but at this point, everything's still pretty calm. In the original design, the player retrieved the roller mine from a dispenser and used it to take out a Combine soldier who was holding the field from the other side. Eventually, we scrapped that idea and combined the roller mine training with some stalker exposition that originally occurred in a separate
See
scene.
if you can find a roller mine, Gordon.
And so there you have it. Scrapping ideas. Even small details matter. Also, there's like a writing what? Advice, where your scene should accomplish multiple things at once, where it progresses the plot, exposes characters, and maybe also dumps exposition. So here we're learning about the roller mines, but also about stalkers.
Roller mine, Gordon.
In a good puzzle, the player is presented with an overall goal, and then faces a number of smaller challenges in pursuit of that goal. In the case of the stalker puzzle, we start with, how do I open the door? From there, we move to, how do I get to the stalker? Then, how do I get to the roller mines? How do I get the roller mine back to Alex? And finally, how do I use the roller mine to disable the stalker?
Very cool. Puzzle design. Right. It seems like that will be it for today. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully we will see each other in something else I play for you for free. In the meantime, of course, interact with this video and every other video on my channel, preferably by watching and sharing it with your friends. Check out the RGB rave around the like and subscribe button, and if you don't like the content, it's entirely your fault.